got a setback, and we had to do some different stuff to get this transmission to fit, but we finally got it in there. That footage is coming up next. All right, we had a major setback on this car, as I mentioned in the short. We had to take the cross member and do all kinds of surgery on it, and re-weld a bunch of stuff on it, make it fit. And we've got all that done. We've got it down now. The drive shaft's in. You'll see in the video here coming up. And the actually you didn't film it, but the starter and the flex plate bolts are all bolted up with the washers and spacers and the mount. So got all that in. Got this done. Now, you know, I'm the only person that's probably ever done a Buick Centurion with 4L80E and fuel injection. There's probably only a handful of Buicks out there. It's got 4L80Es, and there's only probably a handful that's got fuel injection, and I'm the only one I think that's ever done a B body. So crossing new ground here. So there's things that's going to happen like that, that's setbacks that I ain't planning for, but you know, we've got it together, we've got it in. So the next video you'll see on the car, we'll probably have the ready to bolt the ACES unit on. We got a few more little odds and ends we got to do under the bottom, like the O2 bung, but we'll be ready to put the ACES in and wire it up and hook the fuel lines to it and everything like that. So but we do have an event to hit before this. I was actually hoping to take this car to this event, but we ain't going to make it with it, so we're just going to take the pickup truck again. But just keep watching. The footage is starting right now on this car. Okay, so when we last left you, we finally got the transmission in the car and the tank's in the car. Got to do one thing more to the tank. I'm going to let it down just a little bit. Where that old vent line that went across, it fell back in the tank, and I'm going to take the float just enough to get the float up and pull that out, and we're going to plug that hole. So I do got to drop it down just a little bit, but I'm not going to take the tank out. Got all the fuel lines ran through the car, transmission lines, all that's hanging up there. We do got to put one more clamp on it. One of the big things we got to do is this transmission mount and the cross member, and we got to modify it for the 4L80E. The 4L80E mount is actually skinnier where the bolt holes are on it than the Turbo 400 one. But we're going to reuse the 400. We're just going to clearance this one. So we're going to go get the die grinder and the air hose here, because I've only got an air one, and do some clearancing on both, slot the hose on this and the cross member once I make a measurement on the bottom of the that. So this is the Turbo 400 mount. Now I could buy a 4L80E mount, but realistically all I gotta do is slot these two holes on the outside, just measure it and slot them, drill back the rubber just a little bit, trim it back, and this will work. There's no sense in buying a new one when I can make this one work. There's nothing wrong with this mount. I mean, it's not in the best shape, but we may change it later. It's easy to do. Right now, I'm just going to go ahead and fix this one. And then we got to slot the cross member, which I've got laying over here the same way. So I'm going to go dig the air grinder out, the die grinder, and slot these two holes inward just a little bit. Pretty simple. Let me get something to take a measurement or make a template up and under the car here of the 4L80. And we'll take care of that, and then I'll grind this little bit of rust off this, and we'll paint this all black too. All right, all I'm going to do is take a piece of tape, stick on the mount, and then pull it back off. Maybe poke holes in it where it goes, or whatever we need to do. I'll do it with a marker if I can find one. I know I've got some here. All right, let me roll up under the car just for a second. And I'm gonna put a piece of tape. Let's set you up here. All right, so what I'm gonna do is take this piece of tape and just put it over the holes like so, if it'll stick. It's kind of greasy, it might not stick. It don't need to stick good, I just need it to stick for a second. There we go. If it'll stay. And there's the center of the other hole. Okay. And I got a little off, but we know the distance now of our holes. Like I said, we're going to make this mount a little more. It'll be slotted where it move a little bit, you know, have some slack, because it's got washers that go in it too. So now we need to get the air hose, and we'll slide it outside and do this, because it'll be a lot easier. So now this is what I got, and you can see we're going to come in about 1 inch a total, maybe a 1/2 inch each side. Just slot these holes. And like I said, it ain't got to be perfect. I'm just doing this as a template to know where to come back in. So if I add, about a 1/2 inch on each side, it'll work. Let me get the air hose hooked up and the die grinder out. All right, so I got the die grinder hooked up, poured it full of oil, and we know what we need to take off on these, pretty much. So we need to take about a 1/2 inch in, and we'll do the same thing on the other. Let me set this up and we'll die grind it. It's pretty thick metal, it ain't doing too hot. Maybe I'll just cut it with the grinder. Probably should drill a hole. Maybe we drill a hole and just cut that part out with the grinder. Would work better. I mean, with the cutoff wheel. Might work a little better. Let's try that. Okay, so I drilled that hole out, and what I'm just going to do is take the cutoff wheel and just cut the middle out of it. It worked better than the die grinder. Die grinder was taking all day, so I'm going to try to do that on the other side where I already die grinded a little bit. Maybe puncture it and drill a hole through it. And then we'll do the same thing on the cross member, and then we'll paint the cross member and this so it looks alright. Okay, so now I've got it where I can slot it, as you can see, and now I'm just going to take the cutoff wheel, cut these little dividers out, maybe smooth it up a little bit. Might have to use the die grinder too, but it should work pretty good. I gotta get me some better die grinder bits, that's for sure, but I got it. I'm going to paint that, and now the holes are slotted and I got room to get my bolts up in there. Just needed a little bit, so let me throw some black paint on it so it will hold up, and put this on the car. Now with the cross member, I ain't really got to slot it because these 2 bolts are actually put on before the cross member's bolts tightened up, but I like having access to them. And there's no way I get a socket in there the way it is. This dry grinder bit's already wore out, and these are junk, so I'm just gonna wear them all out and buy me some better ones later. So I'll try it, see what it does. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now I've got some rust reformer I'm going to hit on it. I used under, and then I am going to paint this one with gloss black afterwards, but I am going to hit it with rust reformer too, just to make it hold up, because cross members are very expensive, we found out on Dad's car. So I'm going to take it over here and I'm going to paint it. Okay, so there's that. There's the cross member all painted up. Let's set them in here because it started raining on me. Get them out of the way, but that's all ready to go. It looks pretty good. You know, it's got pits and stuff. It's Not perfect, but it's going under a car. I'm not really worried about that, but as long as it's clean and not rusty. Had to make a parts run. Hardware store, get these 2 bolts here. I bought metric ones, but I didn't realize, I thought I was buying something about that long, and I just grabbed them at Lowe's one day when I was in a hurry, and they was way too long, half the kind that's half threaded, you know, and just not threaded all the way down. So they were about 1 inch longer than this. And I guess I meant to grab something about this size, and I just grabbed I guess I grabbed them out of the wrong pack and didn't look when I was checking out, because it was right before they was closing and I was in a hurry. I had like 2 minutes before they closed, so I tried to grab it and just run out of there, and didn't realize I grabbed the wrong pack, and got them home and realized, hey, they're a mile too long and they're not going to thread up in there. So went down to the hardware store and got these. One thing I hate, I don't know if everybody agree with me, I hate the bolts that only have threads halfway up. I like bolts all the way thread. I wish every one of them were all the way thread. I don't know if you guys are like that too, but you work on a car, man, them ones that ain't got threads all the way up, kind of useless on some stuff. There you can see what I was talking about before. Yeah, I just seen the thread count and the pitch and everything was right for a metric bolt, and didn't look. Now when we get doing this full time every day, we're probably going to have to invest in a selection of bolts here, but right now, where I'm just doing it part time for the next year or so till I get retired from the day job, we just buy what we need, put it on it. And I really might not need washers. I don't know. Probably help put them in it though. Yeah, probably help. Don't want it backing out, so we do washers. And for some reason, these are 12s. I don't know, but they'll work. They're a little bigger. They'll work. We might have to trim some rubber all the way though. Looks like we're gonna have to. There ain't going on there good enough to. I don't believe I can tighten them up like that. We'll see. If we do, we'll have to trim some of this rubber off of it. Ain't that big a deal. Die grinder won't wear out with that. That's great. This side ain't got enough slot in it. Yeah, maybe it does. Yep. Yeah. And we might have to do some more grinding here in a minute, looks like. I don't know. Yeah, it might work. We might be alright. As long as it's a set center, it really don't matter. Yeah, we're going to grind a little bit of rubber right here. I can dovetail it. And I can do something else too. You have to grind on this guy a little bit more. That right there, that little piece of metal is sticking up just barely too high for that bolt to slide through, and then we're going to grind this rubber down so we can get a wrench in there. So break out the die grinder and do it again. Yeah, so it's working now. You can see I got a little slack there, so I can center it. Now I just got to find a socket or a wrench or something to tighten this up with that'll fit in here, and we're good to go. And we'll use one of these old bolts. We'll figure out what size socket we need. I know what you're saying. I've got an electrical. Why are you out here doing it by hand? Because I'm too lazy to roll over and get it. Okay. We're about halfway there on this side. Why are we doing this? That side's tight. Looks pretty dang center. That looks pretty dang center, and that's good enough to hold. So that's done. Alright, so, alright, sit here and sweat about it. And then we'll, I guess we need to pull this jack back up, and we got to figure out, pull this ratchet strap off. And once we do that, we got to figure out probably a new hole for the cross member, because apparently it's going to be further back than it was before. So we have to figure that out. Let's roll this jack up here. So the jack that wouldn't work to take out a transmission, we'll still hold it up. And that's the game we're doing here. Alright, that should be good enough to pull our ratchet strap off. God, I'm burning alive under here. I bet it's 100 in this shop. Yep. Okay. Go. Right, straps out of the way. And now we got to figure out what we got to do with the cross member. Because the mount on 4L80E is also in a different spot. Don't ask me why. Didn't build them, just put them together. I believe that's about as tight as that's going to go. Alright, let me slide over and get the mount, or the mount with the cross member. And what I'm going to do is, for now, I'm just going to set it up here on the exhaust. Somehow. Remember how I got this thing out of here? Must have come in from there. Yep, that ain't working at all, is it? So let's see here. Alright. Let me figure out how I'm going to slide this in here. And then we'll figure out what we got to do about holes. room on this side. A little bit. Oh yeah. Yeah. Hands would be nice. Whew, I gotta take his hat off. Yeah. I think she'll go in there if I just keep fighting with her. I'm gonna pull the transmission just a little bit farther. We on the mount. We'll be back in a minute. Okay. Alrighty. It's something. Does this guy go under it or above it? I think that went above it. It's probably gonna go above it. So anyhow, I'm gonna have to slide it in now. Now what I'm gonna do is set it like that right there over the mount. And then I'm going to figure out what I got to do for holes. Let me sweat about it again. Now what I've read online is your front hole will not work on these. Your back hole becomes your front hole, from what I've read. But that ain't working on this one. I'm not hitting either hole. So that means we probably going to have to drill new holes. Let's go over here. Maybe. Now what I was wanting to do ain't gonna work. Yeah, so I'm going to, if this went on that exhaust, it would help. Let's see. Yeah, it's on there pretty tight. Yeah, I'm on the exhaust is part of the problem. There we go. Let me go on down just a little bit. Scoot over here. That way we're not on the exhaust and just the transmission. Now we're on the exhaust this side. Great. This thing is probably would have helped if I hadn't tried to jack up a car with it. Move these out of the way so they get kinked. Alright, so now the transmission's touching the floor, but that's good. Gives me room to work everything now. Alrighty. So, what I read online is that the front holes become the back, but it ain't looking like that's so right now. Say it ain't so. I will know something. I don't know that song. I don't really know it. I mean, I remember it from when I was in high school. But you know. Let me get up and under this with some butt force here. you kind of got to put these at an angle like that. And then this side you got to slide it in at an angle too. It's all about the angle. Can we go up any higher with? Oh yeah. Yeah, that's probably about as high as we're gonna go though. Yeah. Yeah, it ain't working yet. Yeah. That's probably against the car now. It's ready to go. Shebang, huh? Ugh. Yeah, we're going to slide this back and try to slide it in. I've got pretty clearance here. That's something. I don't know what. It's something. Okay. We're somewhere. What are we hitting here? Not really nothing here. Okay. I'm about to. I knew she'd come around sooner or later. Why is that not clearing? The motor mount. Well, that's weird. It's setting high too. That's a problem. That could be a problem. Okay. Alright, so I did what I said I was going to do. I slid the mount on the cross member first. Now I'm going to push the cross member forward, tighten these bolts back up, these metric bolts back up in the transmission, and see if this works. If it does, gravy. If not, I don't know what we're doing. Well, let's see what we got. Alright, so the transmission is definitely setting way too high. So, where does that leave me? We're going to put this back on here, jack it up, take this back loose. Alright, so this is the 400 mount. And as you can see, it sets way higher, way higher. So what I'm going to have to do is modify the cross member. Probably going to have to cut it right there where it mounts and trim it all the way where it will lay flat. And we're going to have to do some measuring here. But we'll have to trim it, make it, instead where it humps up right there, make it a flat plate and like a downset sink, and then weld it back together. So, got a welding project we're going to have to do right here in a second. Okay, so we need to pick up 1 inch of room, basically. And the easiest way I can do it is cut this and lay it flat. and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Right here, if we take it and cut it down to right there, and just weld it flat and put gussets on each side, this will set where it needs to. That's going to give us the inch and a half clearance we need. Right now the transmission is sitting way too high. We can always space up easier and put a washer or something under the mount easier than we can do anything. So I'm gonna hook the cut up off wheel, and I'm gonna cut this out first thing. So and I'll try to get you where you can see me. Extension cord, I do not know. Yeah, we got to have an extension cord. This wire. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come right here, cut this, right here, and cut this in a straight line, or as straight as I can get it. Right through here, and cut it on both sides, and cut this out. Then we'll lay this flat, and weld it back in, weld some pieces on the side, and call it good. Alright, I got it out. Now all I gotta do, I'm gonna take this on the big metal chop saw, cut these edges off, and I'm gonna lay this probably in here once I grind it a little bit where it kicks up a little bit, upside down, because it's got this roll to it, and that'd be perfect to lay in there and weld. I was thinking about doing it from the bottom and sticking it up like that, but it'd be stronger if I do it that way. So what I'm going to do is just take it over here, and I'm going to run it through my metal chop saw and cut these off where it kicks up, and we might kick that little cut off and this little cut off just to get it look nice and neat. And then we'll weld it in. We'll put gussets on each side, or pieces of flat plate, and we'll call it good. We'll throw some more paint on it. Alright, so I've got this part of the cross member pretty flat where I can weld it in. Then I'm going to put some gussets on the side. It ain't perfect, but once I fill it in with weld and paint it should be alright. I'm going to do this side and grind it down. You see I'm going through cutoff wheels pretty fast. So I'm going to try to knock that side out. Alright, there's the factory piece cut out. It's still a little hot, but as you can see, yeah, it's going to fall right through just like that. I can't touch it. It's a hot tamale right now. Want it to be, ooh, it's hot, I can't touch it. Don't melt my pliers. Okay. I'm gonna let this cool down for a second. So I'm kind of at a dilemma right now. Like I said, this is smaller. These right here will fit really nice right there once they're cut and ground down a little bit. See, I can weld that right there, and that's gonna fit really good right there if we grind it off and stuff. But then this piece that's still too hot for me to touch is not wide enough. So I need something to bridge the gap, or I need to make a new piece. The bad thing is I don't have any metal even close to this thick here. So I don't know whether I want to make, plus I'm going to have to drill new holes in it. It's going to be a lot of work drilling those holes. Good thing is I can make it just for the 4L80E mount. Instead of these holes where I enlarged them, I can make it perfectly for the 4L80E mount, which would be ideal. But again, I don't have anything here that thick that I know of. I'll have to, I might, if I look around here, I might have a piece of angle bracket. The only piece I had that thick was I used on that winch. So, and it really doesn't need to be this thick. GM really kind of over engineered these cross members, but yeah, that right there is going to fit so nice right there if I cut it in two pieces. I really don't want to use it for that, and I don't think you need a cross member for a transmission this heavy duty. I mean, this is that thick. You can see right here how thick this metal is, and it's getting cool enough I can touch it a little bit. And that's probably overkill for a cross member mount, but that's the way GM made them. So Let me ponder on this and see if I got some metal, and I might just make a new one of these plates. If not, we might just go find some more metal here. If I got some small pieces, we can bridge this like this and then weld this on it, and then this on the sides. But I think it would look better. So you can see how much smaller it is. So let me see what I got. Alright, so I got these, and they're 2 old riding mower blades, and they're about the thickness, but they're not no wider, so I can't make a piece out of it. Now this would work if I want to bridge it, like I'm talking about. And I could bridge a piece here, a piece there, but that's going to make it a little weak, in my opinion. So let me go look around and see what else I got. Now these 2, I can also maybe use them for some fill-in pieces and stuff. So that's why I saved these. They're pretty decent metal. They're pretty thick. They're not as thick as this, but it's close, so it may work. Let me go see what else I got. I got this piece, and this is like an old window used for bricks, put above windows, the metal pieces you put in. That's what this is, and it's about an 1/8 inch, or I mean it's probably 1/4 inch thick versus this is probably 3/16. So I can make it out of that. So I'll have to sit and think about which way would be the strongest, because if I bridge it like I'm talking about, I don't know if it's going to be as strong as it would be just one solid piece. I could double this 2 and make it pretty much as thick. I mean, it's almost as thick. So, you know, I could take a piece of this double. Now this is wide enough. It's got this little hoop in it, but a little bent place in it, but if we cut it off right here and smooth it, it'd be wide enough. So I really don't know. I'm just kind of thinking, kind of brainstorming right now. This is all I really got though in metal this thick. I've got that. It's 1/4 inch. Man, that'd be awful thick to put up there. And I'm not even sure I can weld that. I guess I could if I did it slow. This is only a 110 welder, so. Man, that'd be perfectly wide though, ain't it? Well, that looks pretty good. That's the piece I cut off the edge of the bracket. It just fit too good. I was like, you know, that looks so good to fit there. I'm gonna go ahead and tack that in. And so I just ground it out a little bit, trimmed it down. And it's got a little bit of a gap, but we'll fill it in with weld or whatever. But man, that's a pretty good fit right there. So I'm gonna weld that in. I got a few, like 2 little pinholes to fix right there, but I'm pretty pleased with it. Come out pretty good. I stuck around this edge, and this right here I'm going to bolt out a little bit on me, and I didn't see it. So I'm going to put something back in there and either fill it with weld or put a piece of metal in there. I'll probably just put a little piece of metal in there, cut me a little triangle of anything. You don't have to be full of this thick metal just for that. I probably will cut it that thick, but I'll probably do it on this little cut-off machine over here and cut me a little small triangle and just put it in there. I'll make me a template out of cardboard before I do. But, yeah, that's doing pretty good. 3rd time welding, so, you know. I mean, don't claim to be a pro at anything I do, so. So yeah, I guess we'll do this. Then we'll take a wire wheel and clean up some of this edge and this edge. Gotta do some more grinding right there to get that flat. This one's pretty flat right here. I know it looks rough, but it's actually pretty flat. And then we got to make a piece to go over here and weld it in the same way. We'll weld a plate in there. This is done. So yeah, it's hot, but that old piece of lawnmower blade worked wonders if I could hold it. Look at that. It's gonna look good. And it's still so hot I can't hold it. So I'm gonna weld it in. I'm gonna get my wire brush this time, make sure I clean up my edges a little better, because that was something I was noticing over here I wasn't clean enough. And that's welded. I went ahead and just welded that in too. I got one little pinhole here, and guess what? I'm not gonna worry about it. It ain't gonna make a difference. But all this is solid. You know, it's not flexing. It's welded good. This right here is done real good. I could have made it smooth, put another bead, or I can grind that smooth, but I had like an indentation there, but it's welded solid, so I'm happy with it. Now all I'm gonna do is make a plate. I ain't worried about it. You're not never gonna see this, so I don't care about making it beautiful. All right, I found the perfect piece of metal. On the Bronco, they'd homemade some brackets to hold on the arrow nose bumper, because it's a brick nose Bronco. They used about the same thickness metal as this, and they're big flat plates. I'm just gonna go, I gotta take that bumper off anyway. I'm not gonna reuse those flat plates. So when it's daylight, as it being 2:30 in the morning, when it's daylight tomorrow, when I can get out there where I can see, I'm gonna take those two brackets, the bumper off that Bronco, and use one of them pieces of brackets to make this. And then we'll drill new holes in it, the size of a 4L80E instead of a Turbo 400, and we'll call this done. So this is my piece of metal, and you can see it's about as thick as everything else was, maybe just a hair thinner, but it's thicker than that piece I had last night, that piece, and it's not as crazy thick as that, so this should work. They had these. All right, so there's my plate. I'm to clean it up a little bit with the grinder, clean the edges up where I can weld it. We're gonna burn this in just a minute. It's a little wide right here, but I think we can fill that up pretty good. So need to go get another grinding wheel, let my arm cool off from all the burns, and we'll grind down this and smooth this out a little bit where we can get a good weld on everything. We'll just fill that in with weld. It'll be all right. It ain't enough to matter. And this should be pretty good. Alright, it ain't perfect, but it's good enough to please myself. I could probably grind all these welds really smooth if I really wanted to. But again, nobody's going to be able to see this ever. Alright, so I got it cut out for the thing. I got a little off right here, but again, nobody's going to see this. I ain't worried about it being perfect. Well, this step bit I got, this big one, had it. And I don't think it was actually a good one. I don't even think it was from Harbor Freight. I think it was from like those tool stores over in Tennessee. And it's all right for small stuff, but for this thick stuff, it's not strong enough. The Harbor Freight bit's twice as good a bit as it. So Warrior bits are pretty good. So need to get some more of them in the bigger sizes, but that's the only big one I had. So what I've been doing is I'm wallering around. I tried the die grinder and I run out of it. So I've just been wallering the bit around, and I got this one. Here's my 17mm, and you can see it fits loose, but this one still needs just a little hair. So I'm gonna waller it, as soon as this drill cools off, I'm gonna waller it on out. And yeah, it'll work, it looks right. Alright guys, boop, boop. I'm gonna go all the way through with these. So I got them all right enough. Drill's so hot I can't touch it right now, but it's still working. Milwaukee's are tough, I'll tell you. So that's a 17, yep. So tomorrow we'll paint it and put it in the car. So after taking that wore out step bit and walling this out like it was up my anniversary, this right here is actually clearing, put the sockets in, so we should be ready to put this guy in. Now we'll have to drill some more holes It's getting that kind of party. For these right here, but then we should be able to put it in with no problem. So I'm gonna try to slide this in right quick and see. Welds ain't the best, but guess what? They're holding. It's pretty solid, so I couldn't make it flex. So. Okay, we got the cross member laying up in here, and you can see I've got it jacked up, not even as high as I had it the other night. I'm trying to fit it in here. It's not touching, and I've still got about an inch of play, so it's gonna be perfect for this transmission. It might even be a little short. We might put some washers on the back of this thing. I'm not sure yet, but or run longer bolts and put washers on that. I'm not sure yet, but we do got a drill. Like I said, new holes. There's no way that those holes are gonna hit right there. So we'll just figure out where they are in relation to this. Drill them up kind of in the same spot, but further back. And those will be done. And we'll put these bolts in, tighten the mount up. I think the mount is actually going to be about perfect once I drop it down. And this cross member, probably ready to rock and roll.
Do something else.
All right, so here we go. She's sitting in there. She's sitting pretty straight. All we got to do now is drill the holes, and the drive shaft's ready to go in. And this thing's got a thing that pulls it down. It's over here. I don't know if it's actually going to work. We might have to rig this up a little different because we had to move stuff, but that's it. All right, so I'm in there pretty good. Pretty well where I need to drill the holes. And I'm going to drill out for this thing a little bit bigger, this hole, because I've got this dropped down at an angle where I can't get it in there. So if I make the hole just a little bit bigger, this holds the emergency brake line down like that so it doesn't hit the drive shaft and keeps it tight. So I have to do that. Just make this little hole right here just a hair bigger wherever it's at. It's over here somewhere, right there. And this is done. We can put the drive shaft back in her, I believe. So all in all, I did pretty good with it, I think. Probably needs to go this way just a little bit. Yeah, too far. Yeah, right there. That's dead center. And it's lined up perfectly straight. So now all we gotta do is drill holes. Yep. Found a washer and nut for this. Just get something to tighten her on up with. I don't care what size she is. 5/8. Bigger 5/8. Alright, go get the next biggest socket. Yeah, didn't have to go far. It was laying over here. Take these bolts up back here. Those bolts are out. Actually, yep. Good times. Polishing my shaft. Lubing it up, guys. There we go. So now you can see where my gap was with the drive shaft and how much engagement I have. And I don't have enough. Are you kidding me? I don't believe I got enough. So we're going to buy a longer yoke or a new drive shaft. Great. I may have enough, I can't tell. That yoke's pretty long. Maybe I do. Yeah, I do. Okay, so I'm in there. Yeah, you can see the wear mark on the old one right there. So I'm only, what is that, about a ½ inch difference? See, right here's where it wore before. It said about that far out before. I think we're all right. I mean, we'll know if we got any vibrations. If we do, we'll just have to have the drive shaft lengthened or buy a new drive shaft. That's 3/4 of an inch longer. But I don't think so, because and that's holding pretty good. Well, let's see if we got any vibrations is the only thing. I don't think it's going to, though. Like I said, we've only moved it about, at the most, 3/4 of an inch. It looks more like half. You can see the wear mark right here. Right there. The old one's there about right there. So I think it's going to be all right. I think it's engaging enough. You can buy a longer yoke if we need to. Also, I need to slide back further in the transmission, but with this one, I'm striking the whole thing, trying to move that little bit. So, as long as we don't get no vibration, we're good. We'll just have to see. Got one more enough? No, I don't think so. Maybe. Here's a ½ inch. Right there. One, two. Yeah, it's gotta be. It's gotta be right. Yeah, it's on. Okay. It's on. One of these holes for some reason is slotted. I don't think I got enough bolts. Seems like I just bought 3 and I needed 4. I definitely don't have enough washers. So that means we'll have to go to the store. And we'll see shorter ones will work. These are a little shorter. They may work. As long as they'll thread in there, it don't matter, does it? This is a weird one right here. That one's like slotted. This hole's like slotted for some odd reason. Let me get a little bit longer bolt. Right there. See, that makes no sense. Let me spin here around. I don't remember 3 bolts in my 350 converter, so maybe this has got 1 extra hole that we don't use. I'm not sure. And right there's 2. Yeah, there's another one. So this can, you got dual bolt holes maybe? I think these converters must have dual bolt holes. I don't know a lot about 4LEDs, but right there's another slot that I'm not going to use. Seems like 400s only have 3. And that's what I got, did my math on. It's 3. Not 6. Get that in a second. 4. Grab me another in here. Wherever the grab another out of the there it is. See, that's more like it. Because that's yeah, 7/16" socket here. I got enough room for one. That's a 1/2 inch anyway. Or 9/16. 5/8. Yeah. We're fine with this for now. Okay, I'm gonna spin these all around. I gotta push this converter out a little bit. I want to get the pry bar into it. Spin around and get the last hole. Not one in the hole. Okay. One to go. Oh. Probably got a little tighter with this one. Ratchet do this good. Alright, and there should be one more hole. If I can get this wrench in there. There's my last one. You hear the motor putting compression through it. Pretty cool, actually. Yep, brake light. Didn't need it anyway, did I? Okay. 3 more washers and 1 more bolt. Alright, yeah, I can see there that I've got my washers done. This is all tight. We still got to tighten these bolts up here, but transmission's in, and once we tighten these bolts up we can put the starter back in. But I'm probably gonna go buy an LT1 starter, because you can buy an LT1 starter and swap these over to them, and it makes like a high torque mini starter. It gives you a lot more room and space. Anyway, that's the video for the night though. I'm not doing any more. I'll call it good. I've got to work in the morning, so until then, just keep liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing. We're up to 704. That means we need 296 more subscribers to get to 1,000. So everybody just keep doing what you're doing. I love you for it. I appreciate it. I appreciate all your comments and all your support. Hey, go rig something up.